After reading the book Freakonomics, I have chosen to disagree with Chapter 2, How Are the Ku Klux Klan Like Real Estate Agents? So why do I disagree with this chapter? And I'm not going to state the obvious that the Ku Klux Klan was based on racism and forms of bigotry, because that's not what the book claims. The central idea of the chapter revolves around the fact that knowledge is power. The claim is strengthened from the quote that says, "The Ku Klux Klan, much like politicians or real estate agents or stockbrokers, was a group whose power was derived in large part due to the fact that it hoarded information," end quote. Now, while what someone knows and what they reveal is different, I believe that the book misunderstood exactly how the Ku Klux Klan was using their knowledge. To understand the rest of my argument, you have to understand the KKK and their group. The KKK was formed after the Civil War, and they were notorious for inflicting pain to those that they deemed unworthy of basic human rights. And besides the chance to go around causing mayhem with your buddies, it seemed to be the secret side of things that attracted most of the members of the group. Hooded cloaks, secret meetings, and even secret sayings all gave the members power over non-members. KKK members came up with the term Mr. Ayak and Mr. Aki to determine who Klansmen were. The chapter goes on to explain how this relates to real estate agents and their own secret words or secret phrases. The book quotes, "An analysis of the language used in real estate ads shows that certain words are powerfully correlated with the final sales price," end quote. When the words like fantastic or spacious are used, it typically seems to mean, according to the book, that the house isn't that well, or realtors are hinting to other people or bidders to bid low, and that the house isn't that nice. But according to Todd Miller, a real estate agent for a long time, he says that this technique is known as puffing, and it's simply done to help the seller and the real estate agent selling the house get the best profit and the best price that they possibly can for the house that they're dealt. And, obviously not every house is going to be top quality conditions, so puffing is actually used a lot in these terms. Now, obviously these groups both have these certain things that they may use, but the KKK uses it in a completely different way. They used it as a way of communication to the other group members and not as a form of so-called help, whereas the realtors would use it as a technique on public signs to help the seller, not to warn bidders away. This leads to another flaw that I would like to point out in the book, and it's how the book correlates the group's downfall with the leaked information. The book quotes, "Once that information falls into the wrong hands, or depending on your point of view, the right hands, much of the group's advantage disappears," end quote. There's a very big reason why I disagree with this quote. Knowledge used by the Klan was not used how the book portrayed it to be. As time passed, people started accepting black race more, and to a certain extent, they didn't really care about the skin color. The Klan's views simply became outdated, and more of the Klan members seemed to be realizing it, hence why less members started showing up to the meetings and the numbers started to drop. The tides just shifted, and no amount of secrets were going to keep them alive or keep them going, hence the book saying, or more likely, it has become so unfashionable to discriminate against certain groups. First and foremost, it is important to understand that the Ku Klux Klan is nothing less than a gang. In Chapter 3, we get a very good description of the gang lifestyle and what they do. Now, why is this important? Well, if you think about it, with the book's own knowledge, most gangs today would have collapsed or fallen, but they haven't. We know their leaders, gang signs, gang symbols, even their way of life, and the same would go for realtors. If the realtors really had this secret code that the book seems to portray and lying to the public, well, it would seem that the public would stop hiring them and they would need jobs. However, they clearly haven't and never will, because despite what the book says, they're professionals and we will always need them for what they do. At the end of the day, the KKK was a gang that was outrated and would have been overrun by any gang in today's society. Knowledge is power, but not so powerful as to destroy a group of 8 million members just because of a simple released fact or released secret. Realtors and the KKK are simply different because of the instability of the Klan and the need for realtors. I don't know about you, but no matter how many facts or secrets I learned about the real estate business, I would still need a realtor to help me sell my house.